guys, welcome back. On today's episode, we are going to talk about saying bye-bye to imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is something that I learned about at a very old, at an older age. When I was younger, I felt like I did, and I still do sometimes, operate in imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is just simply where you allow yourself to basically make yourself small to make other people feel better. And that's not even always the case. There's so many examples of imposter syndrome, but imposter syndrome is generally like, for example, if you know that you're a bomb ass at your job, but when you're at work, you try to act like not like you don't know what you're doing, but when you're at work, you kind of just, keep your skills and your sets to yourself because you don't want to come off as a know-it-all. You don't want to come off as someone who, you just don't want the light to be shined on you when you absolutely should want the light to be shined on you. Another example of imposter syndrome is when someone compliments you and you are like, oh, no, basically imposter syndrome is dimming your light. And today we're going to say bye-bye to imposter syndrome because I feel like it's very easy in society to succumb to imposter syndrome just because I feel like society has never showed us how to confidently show up in the world and just be our confident selves without getting backlash for it. Of course you have people who are always going to have something to say, but generally, I feel like I have never really seen an example of someone who is just unapologetically confident who didn't get some sort of a backlash. And I personally love it. I love it. I'm a growth girl. I love to see people be confident. I love to see people be a boss, be a badass at what they're a badass at. But one thing we're not going to do is shrink ourselves. And I feel like in order for you to become who you need to be, you have to take up all the space, sis. You really do. You have to take up all the space. If you know your worth and you know what you bring to the table and you know who you are, let that shit shine. You should have never had to make yourself feel small to make anyone feel comfortable. And I do believe imposter syndrome definitely starts when you're younger because you're taught to kind of conform to the people around you. When you're younger, you are generally finding yourself and figuring out who you are and figuring out just everything about life. And then you just have all these opinions just thrown at you at a young age, whether it's from family or friends or peers. You just have all these opinions. And so I really feel like you don't, there's some people who at the jump come out their mama knowing who they are, and that doesn't change, and that's just a beautiful thing. But for most people, I feel like you don't find yourself until you get older. And I feel like imposter syndrome is something that I didn't realize I lived in until I got older. And when I was younger, I felt like I had a lot of identity problems as far as how I wanted to show up, because it's I was too black for the white people, too white for the black people. And so I was just damn, where does your girl fit in? I guess we're somewhere in the middle. Maybe I gotta find someone like me. I grew up getting called an Oreo or this, or getting told I wanted to be white and all this other just nonsense. And growing up, I'm just damn, I really was going through it. And now, at this grown ass age of 27, I realized I'm so happy that I'm different from everybody else. I'm so happy that I'm different from the people around me, because that's what makes me stand out. And that is something that I should embrace. That is never something that I should have been taught to hide away. And I feel like if I would have known when I was younger that there was a beauty in how different I was, it would have helped me from a lot of pain, a lot of insecurities, a lot of situations that I probably wouldn't put myself in because I knew better, And I feel like I had a hard time just finding myself, finding my friend group. And even as an adult, it's very, very hard to find friends. Very, very hard to find friends, especially girlfriends. I feel like I'm a girl's girl, so I'm not gonna say, oh, girls are weird, because I do generally agree with that comment, but I don't feel like all girls are weird. I just feel like it's really hard to find girlfriends at this age, because I think a lot of people are still finding themselves. And I feel like when you are on a spiritual awakening and you are quote unquote woke to life, it is really hard to find people who align with you. And that's just that just is what it is. It's no beef, it's no problem. It's just you it's hard to find people who are where you are mentally. And I feel like my peace and my happiness is just so important to me, and I've worked so hard on it. And so it's really easy for me to be like, no, like I don't even care if it's just like the smallest thing. Like I genuinely need people around me in my circle who feed that positivity, like no matter what. Like I am a very like feelings person, and I feel everything, and I feel like I need people around me who are like me, like who wear like little soft little flowers, and like, we are ourselves around each other, and we know how to show each other love, and we know how to, do what we need to do as friends, and hold ourselves accountable when we need to, but it's all through love and with love. And I feel like with all that being said, your friend group does have a lot to do with your imposter syndrome as well, because I feel like we do succumb to, I feel like your friends should take away your imposter syndrome. Like if you're around people, friends, co-workers, boyfriends who make you feel like you have to like shrink yourself, then that's not a good situation that you need to be in. Like you need to get yourself out of there, because I didn't realize that I was surrounded by co-workers, could be co-workers, family, whatever, that made me shrink myself, until I was like, dang, like I just feel so small. But before I walked into the situation, I felt so big and I felt so proud. And it's just like, even especially going into a work environment where you're new or where you feel like you're not qualified, that is where you can feel your imposter syndrome the most, because you're just like, oh, I'm not qualified for this, I'm not this, I'm not this. And it's like, but no, sis, you are qualified. You are qualified to be in whatever room that you deem to be qualified when you walk in that motherfucker, because you set the tone for what you're qualified for. You set the tone for who you are when you walk in the room, and you just have that energy about you that no one else can duplicate. No one can duplicate who you are, and there is a beauty in that. And I feel like if you tap into that, your imposter syndrome literally disappears, because you realize, I have all of these amazing attributes in me that God gave me, and I'm sitting here dimming it to make other people feel comfortable. That's not living my life. That's not living my truth. That's not loving myself. And I feel like on this confidence journey, and on this journey to just loving myself, I'm learning to just take up space. Like I'm learning to just, to just be that girl and allow myself to be that girl. I in my head at home know that I'm that girl. And when I go out, I know that I'm that girl, I'm chilling. But I feel like I have a way of being like, when people compliment you, I say thank you. That's what you're supposed to do. You're never supposed to shy away from compliments, but it's more so like what I think I can do, like what I think I can do in general, like my capacity to like start something or do something. I'm just like, I know I can do it, but I have all of these like what ifs in my head, and it's just like, no, queen, like you can do it. You know that it's in you. So walk in that truth, And I feel like we catch ourselves in imposter syndrome very easily, and I feel like it's something that you just have to be mindful about to just snap out of, because it's, especially when you've been doing it for so long, trying to turn the training wheels and take the motherfuckers off, it's hard. It's really hard. But I feel like finding yourself and finding who you are and finding what your strengths and your weaknesses are is very important. And this is just your reminder, your daily reminder, your cup of tea for the morning, queen. Take up space. Take up all the space that you want. Take up all the room. Leave it to where there's no space for anybody else, because that is who you were created to be. You were created to shine in your light, in your beauty, and your light deserves to be lit 24/7, like a hot and ready Little Caesars pizza. It deserves to be lit. Like it deserves to be lit up. And you don't forget who you are. You don't forget. And a lot of people think like, oh, you're this, you moved around, you forgot where you came from. You think like, no. Like I did. You should always want to do better for yourself, but you move away and you do this, and people automatically think that you switched up. Let them. That is literally my motto in life. Let them. If someone feels some type of way, let them. I think the biggest thing about finding yourself and loving yourself is letting people have their own whatever opinions of you, because whatever people feel, that's a them problem, and that's not a you problem. And we have to learn how to take that burden off of us that, you know, that make us feel bad for who we are. Like, no, you be you, you shine in your light, queen. You don't let anybody dim your light. You love yourself and you shine in the light that God has created you to shine in, queen, because that is how you are successful. That is how you are your true, authentic, beautiful self that God made you to be. And that is how you thrive in life. Just being unapologetically you and cashing checks, taking names, and not giving an AF, honestly. I love you, queens, so much. And this is just your daily reminder to stunt on the world, stunt on the job, stunt on anything and anybody. Be yourself, love yourself, queen. I love you so much, and I will see you next time.